fact, if you roll back a few years, you realize that AGA as a mother company has been the reason all this infrastructure we see around exists. This is a product from their what you call corporate social responsibility. Absolutely. You know, they've done a lot to support the community. They've been the very backbone of the school. And so their current state where they are not in operation is really reversing the progress of the school. But we are trying to make do with the means available to us under the circumstance. In the past, I could have spoken to that effect, but as of now, I may not be able to say that for a fact. But in terms of the infrastructure we have, the utility available, water, electricity, it's all coming from them at their benevolence. The entire Obuasi community has depended heavily on the mine. And because of the current state of the mine, the whole economy is on its knees. And as a result, parents are having a challenge, a difficulty maintaining their wards with that. They like the quality of education we provide, the services we offer. But when it comes to meeting the financial obligation that goes along with that, they are having a difficulty because most of them are on redundancy, as you know, and so it's making it tough. And as a result, we've lost some students.
Since the underground mine here at Obuasi was shut, people believe that it is a galamsey or small-scale mining that has sustained the economy of this local area. But for how long? Joining me here at this evening are these two men to explain for us, to understand clearly what the situation is. Since the closure of the mine, it took mine 3 years ago, in Sansoben, and the Aba or Manfua, a war of Obuasi.
Mabunua esiso, ye ni ejuma galamsey na ne kakranka kra. Se wonye galamsey ni bi kra na, we taxi driver, we trotro driver, we de obia na, o ton bibia e to wade. Galamsey fo no kokobla bakra na obenya bibia wonso be de. Bibia o ton bia akoso. Ese galamsey ni nye ejuma bi. Obi nko na oba be to wade. Obi nso ma na onye bibi di ama ye dan bo nso ayeden light beam nso ayeden ye di ade ne ye beye nti ye de esra oman no ye ni party bi omo ade e be bo oman mu a ye nyina be de bibi e be de e be bo aye eno anti ne de ye esra oman se won de esre no ombo aye bibi bia ehia e be ma obo aseman ama ye obia kwa obeba obenya du obedie ne bibia na e be boa Obuasi mine no ne ye hwehwe
enti ne de ye ne yesense oso mo makwa ma mine ne ye den eba ena galamsey no so no not because of the mine na ebeninte no ye yi galamsey no so ye den ye mfemfrim because a lot men kasa me boy baako no go school e wo St Andrews, but due to a financial problem into no sometimes I come to me by weekend no abeyi adwuma kakra no they are supporting to no Sunday evening no say den ekọ and it help a lot. As I say, Yankopon Adam or the free school. And to the media mechanic say, and any penny na mine and the Bumpona they can be employed. And we need the mining, and also they should allow some of the youth also to be given some part of the land so that they can also do what they know.
Okay. To say no, me buy ya me tetin seven. Mate say, AGA, omu concession no, be 60% was the same. Edi ama small scale mine say omo nkotena so eno so kra no ne kro no ayedin a o ma set committee a omo fa ne say omo ne galamsey fo no edi nkomo no mko o hwe ade entina ama aye twema mentwe a dada adai omo nkro ye
galamsey issue no it is becoming political because in Ghana here there are a lot of the things that is going on. Sometimes when it is not going well, some other party will support. The party that is existing will try to sometimes connive with the people who are ongoing sometimes. And they that are not also enjoying what is ongoing also will oppose. And you know, as I'm talking right now, galamsey issue is now becoming political, which it should not be so. Because right now when you go there, it is not NDC alone working. It's both MPP, CPP, and all the political parties are working. But some are claiming that it has been allowed because of NDC, or it's going to be allowed when MPP come. But when MPP come or when NDC go, galamsey must be exist, because we are right to enjoy what is in our land.
The gold is yours.
It's ours. White people used to come here. You can see a lot of Chinese enjoying our land. When they come here, if within a few times, you see them buying different cars. But when a Obuasi boy goes and then also gets some of the gold, we do nothing than to build in Obuasi. Right now, we have a lot of galamsey people owning hotels in the land of Obuasi. I can mention a lot of hotels, big hotels, that is being functioning in Obuasi that belong to some of small-scale miners, which I should say. Because when you talk about galamsey, then you are talking about, excuse me to say, sometimes people that do violence and all this, but it isn't so. There are a lot of gentle people who also go to the small-scale mining, which we know as a galamsey.
Okay. So for you, the galamsey or illegal mining is good. It helps the community.
Yes. And the boa mine na boas mine, yin boy. Inti obi on one on tiase, it said the minu can some their politics. By any politics, we whiny cry will be kobi. In our kobi so as one kobi now to few crana a bow. Among Sunya, awful car cry, unya, taxi driver, yane dear, will be a yane dear, into a boas dear. Galamsey won't mean mere mines without galamsey. Into dear, a dear, so mining and say, so oh, here say, baby, a diamond no moon pa, or me a bossy for, or no montanasi, or no meaning baby, dear, bebwam, or for home, bossy. Mining no so, into Saha, and on the mom, no moose a hand on so no more. She baby a ope, our musubenya, on what I want to be, omenet or no minimum juma, baby a mom, Sahana you, farmer home, now no montanasi, a abutre quaso, and your politics. We buy, I'm weighing now. In the entrance, no being do obedi, near more Ghana, so idea. You be
some person can say, Mimi say, me a sofu, me a reverend minister. My name is Reverend Joseph Do. I don't do galamsey. But when the galamsey is going on, it helps all the people in the town. And you know, I will not say they should not allow the mining to come. When the mining also is working, people do pay tithes. When galamsey is going on, people see you on the roadside and give you that. So that we will not go away and sell in Kuto, sell better, and do all kind of gibbous way of taking money. Okay. So we want everybody to do well, as well as the galamsey and the money is being blended up. Okay. So that is all I can say.
Life must go on. Obuasi must not die. AGA should be able to find solution as to bringing back the underground mine, so that the livelihoods of the people who work in the mines, plus the locals who work in the small-scale mining sector, will survive. That Obuasi, Ashanti region, and Ghana will develop.
The 2 years the company said they're going on care maintenance and they're coming back has not been the reality due to problems that arose from January, February. Some people who classify themselves as galamseyers went to the concession of Anglo Ashanti, and within the 2 years that the company was going on care maintenance, the military were here protecting the concession of Anglo Ashanti. So in January, we heard that the military who were at post have been withdrawn from a higher authority or from authority from above. We asked who is the authority from above, but we were never told who the authority from above was. So when the galamseyers went there on 29th of January 2016, the military were here, so they went there to make sure that the galamsey couldn't go to the concession of the company. So just within 48 hours after that incident, the galamseyers went back again. By that time, we were not having any military at post. The military had been withdrawn back to Accra. So some officials of the company and that of some journalists in Obuasi went to the scene to make sure that the galamseyers goes back to where they were. And that even resulted to the death of the then corporate affairs manager, Mr. John Obuasi, who died on 6th February 2016. And the moment that incident happened, the company said that their security was at stake, because they realized if their whole corporate affairs manager could lose his life as a result of small-scale mining, then there was no need for them to still be at post. So they withdrew all their non-essential staff from underground, and as we talked, they are still in the house.
We didn't have a choice but to withdraw our non-essential staff. At the moment, there are thousands of illegal miners operating in that space. Thousands of them. Could be between 7,000 to 10,000, significant numbers. We do get the information from among some of the illegal miners themselves. And remember, we still operate a hospital in Obuasi. Like I was saying, there's so much we're doing. We still operate a hospital in Obuasi, and some of these illegal miners, when they are injured, report to our hospital for treatment. And we do treat them because we are a responsible company, and we can't turn people away just because they are not they are on our concession illegally. Because they are injured, we will treat them. So there are various ways we get that information. But the important thing is that we don't keep it to ourselves. Once we get the information, we report it to the appropriate authorities. And I think the appropriate authorities are the people in the right position to investigate it further and to ensure that all things being equal, we stop these fatalities from continuing. Because remember, irrespective of how we look at it, these are Ghanaians, right? These are our fellow Ghanaians. And we all know that whatever is happening there is not sustainable. Why don't we approach it in a way that is sustainable and doesn't lead to the deaths of our fellow Ghanaians?
Very simple issue to address. We need to first of all consider the ramifications of moving thousands of small-scale miners who are working on a concession, who are making their livelihood on somebody's concession, moving them to a place. So the question then was, where are we taking them? And that question was answered when Anglo Gold released 60% of its concession to the government through the Minerals Commission.
First week of March, the application to relinquish this area of the concession, which has been marked with these diagonal lines, it represents 60% of the entire concession that Obuasi had. It was relinquished to the government and it was approved. So at the end, first week of March, that went out.
Now, that 60% is now available to the Minerals Commission to be parceled out to these small-scale miners. And that is where we are now encouraging voluntary movement of these small-scale miners who are on Anglo Gold Ashanti's concession to go and settle on this 60% concession that has been ceded to the government. Now, the other complaint that comes with it is that do the small-scale miners have to prepare the land, clear the land, do their own geological studies and other, engineering works to make the land suitable for mining? That question has also been answered by the Minerals Commission. They have brought in some geologists and other technical people to get the land ready so that it can be moved. And that is why the Minerals Commission has set up the Movement and Relocation Committee. And basically, the committee is supposed to dialogue with all the stakeholders and eventually get these small-scale miners to settle on suitable land where they can also do their mining, as Anglo Gold Ashanti also goes ahead to reopen its operations and then gets back to business.
But why don't you just move the guys out?
Ourselves?
It's a property.
Sure.
And somebody's in it, taking out the gold and stopping you from really operating to put the mine back on the market for the injection of capital that you speak of.
So there are a few things we need to consider. We do have security on the mine, but we have to operate within the laws of the land. The laws of the land is that you can't arm your security people. So our security personnel don't carry lethal or even non-lethal weapons. And that is not the idea of keeping security. The idea of keeping security is just to patrol the place, take care of access control so that if somebody is coming in, the person is checked properly and so on and so forth. We do have the presence of security agencies on the mine, the state security agencies, and I'm talking the police and the military. And we had the presence of both the police and the military before the illegal mining incursion. Unfortunately, the military were withdrawn after the first incursion. So there was a first incursion at the tail end of January. Because we had the military and the police on site, they were able to bring it under control and get the guys out of the fenced area. Unfortunately, in a matter of days, or I would say even the next day, after the incursion and having been brought under control, the military were withdrawn.
By who?
That is the question we are still yet to find an answer to. We don't know, but the fact that can't be denied is that the military was withdrawn.
I don't even know why they were recorded, except to hazard a guess that the military withdrawal took place at a time when there were a lot of major security challenges in the region. It was around that same period that the Fulani menace got out of hand in the Agogo area. And then just around that period, the Tafu issue came up, such that I am aware that some military men were even brought in from the Brown Ahafo region to augment those that were managing the situation. Usually, the Afan Plains Agogo area is a very wide stretch, covers more than 6 districts, and even transcends into the eastern region. So my guess is that if the military men were enough to manage the situation, we would not have called for assistance from the Bravo region to augment. Mind you, Obuasi hasn't got the military barracks. So if people are sent for operational purposes here, not on permanent basis, and there's need for them to be deployed to other areas, why not? As soon as the situation in Agogo and Tafu was brought to normal, the military men were brought back. So I do not think it was a deliberate attempt by government to undermine the security of Anglo. No.
We need to also be sensitive to the needs of these small-scale miners. It is also very, very important because they also have a certain level of legitimacy to livelihood. I'm not talking about legitimacy in terms of occupying somebody's land, but I'm talking about the state's responsibility to ensure that these people also have access to land where they can do mining if they so wish. So in the past, our rallying cry has been that Anglo Gold Ashanti has all the concession, so nobody can do mining legally. Now they have given up 60% of the concession. So we now have a basis for suggesting to the stakeholders that, look, we now have land. Move to the land, register it in your name, and legally it can be yours, your own concession. No soldiers will come and harass you. No state agencies will come and harass you. You can mine legally, get your money, and then support your family.
We believe that Obuasi must not die. Coalition can say, well, we've been able to achieve a success of it when the small-scale miners have gotten their place that they are working peacefully, whilst Anglo Gold Ashanti also have its own place that they are also working, and then nobody is just trespassing the other. Like I said, we believe that Obuasi will never leave if Anglo Gold Ashanti collapse. Obuasi will never leave if small-scale mine or galamsey also collapse. We believe that Obuasi can only leave, or Obuasi must only leave when galamsey is there or small-scale mining is there, and then Anglo Gold Ashanti too is there.
What can't happen is to have somebody operating within your underground workings. Now remember, mining is an inherently dangerous business. People go underground. We have to work in a regulated way. So if you have another person or another group of people working in your underground, having gone there through other means that you are not even aware of, setting off without the right PPEs and not doing things in a regulated way, setting off explosives when you are not even aware of. And for a regular mining company, when you're setting off explosives, you evacuate the place. Yeah. You wait for the place to clear before you move back in. So if you have different people working like that, it's dangerous. No decent mining company would be able to work under those circumstances.
So we share the bit say oko takwase ya galamsey for no ye adwuma because small scale miners no mo nyanko for mo sensuo won ye ko mo ko dade straight mo ko amonemu straight ekoye adwuma ba ye customer obi kasa galamsey na ode akọ base o mo ko amonemu no so mo sensuo ba ye won ko for ho a mo ye dig and wash a mo sensuo anka so mo de mo gina nsuom na ye By answer the underground and Cassac, be a people being now what the man say, young room name Koyejuma, or betches room Koyejuma, a Yiska Wumudi P. It's not like say, galamsey no e gu Obuasi ni nya ye say consignment ni angle go dia. And nti enya ono na dia na we room dia illegal.
The mine as it is currently is not attractive to any investor. There are too many liabilities. If the mine can attract the best suitor, the company will have to put its act in order. And its biggest challenge now is dealing with small-scale miners or some illegal miners on their site. The Obuasi mine is just like an old lady who has been around for so many years. And they have gone through so many phases, you know. So every old lady has sagging breasts, you know, wrinkled faces and all that. If you want the old lady to look attractive, you will need to fix the wrinkles. You will need to support the sagging breasts. You need to put the old lady in shape. Then the old lady can be very attractive again. So that is what the company has to do. They need to get some facials to, you know, cover up the wrinkles and all that. And that means that working together with the small-scale miners, getting them off their concession, working on their own social license issues, because one of the reports from Randgold claimed that the company seems to have a problem with everybody.
Randgold came into the picture and wanted to partner with Anglo Gold Ashanti to get this mine back on its feet. For one reason or the other, Randgold pulled out. The official line they gave was that the prospects of the mine didn't meet their investment criteria. That's fine. We didn't lose faith in Obuasi, and we still continue to have faith in Obuasi. And so we said we'll continue with that work and ensure that we get to the point where we can bring in another partner who can work with us to bring this back on its feet. So it's rather unfortunate that when we have demonstrated continued faith in Obuasi and doing everything to ensure that this mine can be restarted and get to bring it back on its feet, we do have this come at us. And it's important that we take this first step by establishing law and order, and most importantly, sustaining it, so that together we can move forward. The long and short of it is that we need support. We need support from stakeholders, and most importantly, we need support from the government.
So is there hope for Obuasi as it stands now? We are making everything possible to ensure that Obuasi becomes the once vibrant municipality that everybody in Ghana used to know. We are interested in ensuring that our local economy begins to pick up once again. We are interested in ensuring that Anglo Gold Ashanti begins its operations, probably get a suitor, and expand the operation and begin to employ many more people once again. And then we also have a very thriving, environmentally friendly, sustainable, small-scale mining industry living side by side Anglo Gold Ashanti. We even think that we also need an extra large or medium-scale mining company coming to get a concession and then also operating in Obuasi, so that Obuasi can have several avenues for employment, several avenues for procurement opportunities, small-scale businesses springing up to employ our youth, so that Obuasi can rise again. So yes, I believe there is hope.
I personally have every confidence in the future of Obuasi. And I know that Obuasi can be turned into that world-class mine. I've seen it, I've worked there. I know it can be turned into that world-class mine. And being a Ghanaian, I would want to see this mine come back on its feet so that it can create the opportunities that we've known Obuasi to have done in the past, to create the quality jobs, employment opportunity in terms of quality jobs for people. And the fact that having a mine like that operating does generate a lot more opportunities indirectly from other businesses that rely on the mine. And it's sad where we are now. because it's the opportunity is staring at us in the face. But we need to make that concerted effort as stakeholders to ensure that this mine comes back on its feet. And I'll be glad to see it come back on its feet, except that where we are now, it is an unfortunate situation we are in. Yeah. Okay.
Obuasi needs the mines. Ghana needs the mines. Beneath these soils that I stand on lie huge deposits of gold, which can transform the economy of this nation. But we have the political will to do the right things that will take out the illegal small-scale miners and put them where they belong, other areas within the concessions, so that this underground mine can function and produce the gold that is needed for the transformational effect in our economy. We all hope to see, but something ought to be done beyond the much political talk that has been bandied around of late. Kwaku Osupepra, Joy News, Obuasi.